All right, it's time to go in depth on a couple of the stories in the headlines this week, maybe ones that will make headlines tomorrow. That means it's time for the most edgy 4 minutes of
edgy
news. Edgy. We're going to be edgy tonight.
I like it.
That's a high bar. You got to meet it. All right, Fox 4 political analyst Ben Ferguson right there. Okay, Ben, Monmouth University, they do polls, and new Iowa Republican numbers tonight. Brand new. Ben Carson, 32%. Donald Trump, 18%. So that's a
huge pull ahead for Ben Carson. And no one should be surprised by this. Ben Carson is a very mild, conservative, thoughtful guy.
And that plays in Iowa.
And that plays really well in Iowa. And at some point, if you were Donald Trump, you had to tone down the arrogance to connect with voters in Iowa. Iowa always goes with people that are very calm, evangelical, conservative Christians. Donald Trump does not play well there, and the closer it gets to the caucus, I think the closer it is for him that people start paying attention to the arrogance factor here, and they don't seem to be liking him. And this is a massive backwards spiral for him in that one place.
Let's talk about Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
We don't talk about him that much, but he's really steady, 10% in Iowa. That's third, also running third in New Hampshire. He's not really playing that hard in either of those states. What do you make of him right now? He's got the SEC strategy for the southern states.
Sure.
I mean, is he where do you expect he'll be?
I think he's being realistic. I think he understands that there are some people that have just been able to grab the headlines in a bigger way than he has. So you work on your ground game. Yes, you have to be on the main stage. Yes, you have to have a presence. But ultimately, you look at the strategy of saying, okay, how am I going to do, like you said, the SEC strategy? And it's a great one for him because that's where he plays well. It's what Rick Santorum did so well last time. And so from his perspective, you raise money, you get your ground game together, you get your volunteers on the ground, and you work those states very hard. And if you can be in the top three, because remember, at least somebody big, I think, will drop out after Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina.
If it's Trump, his supporters probably go to Cruz.
I think a lot of them would. I think they like how bold Ted Cruz is. It's what got him elected in this state.
All right, let's talk about Texas. Texas Governor Greg Abbott wrote a letter to Dallas County Sheriff Lupe Valdez implying a policy she described, kind of taking this sanctuary city, sanctuary county. She said she was going to take requests by ICE on a case-by-case basis. Is Dallas County or Dallas a sanctuary city right now?
No, not yet. And I think this was a shot across the bow. But I also think that the governor better be very careful not to overplay this. If you are going to say that this is a crisis and you are going to compare it to other places that are sanctuary cities, don't you have to call a special session at some point for people to believe you and think this isn't just politics and I'm talking about the politics that people hate, the right against the left, the liberal against the conservative, the you're for amnesty, no I'm not, back and forth for political gain here. If he truly believes that this is a issue that is this important, as he said in his letter, then he better be ready to back it up with a special session. I think both sides are playing a little bit of politics here. When you look at the numbers, the sheriff has not denied any requests, but at the same time, she's playing politics with this as well. This is an election issue for people around her, for her campaign, for people that like her, and there's no doubt they're trying to give you a little wink and a nod that, hey, if you're an illegal, we're not going to harass you within the county lines that I'm in charge of.
So what you're saying is a letter isn't impressing you?
No, a letter's not impressing me at all. And also implying that we're going to have these sanctuary policies is not impressing me either. This is the politics that drive people crazy.
And if you think it's this Kate Steinle murder that has everybody knows her name, everybody knows what happened, and so is Governor Abbott trying to get a piece of that kind of wave and write it?
Well, I think he's being very smart about this, and this is where I support him. It is a real issue. If you're going to have laws, then they need to be on the books, they need to be enforced. And when you allow people to walk out on the streets after they've been caught committing a crime as an illegal immigrant, and you become a sanctuary city, you put people's lives at risk, and that's just one example of what can happen. So from the governor's perspective, he doesn't want even the perception that there is any place in Texas that is a sanctuary city for illegal immigrants. That is a smart thing for him to do. And I think being tough on the border, you have to be tough on this. But again, if you're going to go all in, you better be ready to call that special session.
And he doesn't have an election for quite a while. All right,
no, he doesn't.
Let's translate. Investigators say the wife of the man murdered with a machete on the White Rock jogging trail likely committed suicide. It's a terrible story. Can't add a murder charge to the guy who's confessed to killing the husband. A lot of people are frustrated and like that. But It sounds like you want to change the insanity defense rules or something. You're getting frustrated by
Well,
it, too.
every time we see someone commit a heinous act, we hear from somebody immediately talks about, oh, well, they're mentally have issues, and so therefore, they should be held to a different standard. Whether it be what we saw this weekend with the woman that drove her car and killed a 2-year-old and several others in that homecoming parade, and the family immediately runs out and says, oh, well, she's had mental issues. Same thing here, mental issues. That mental issues should not excuse you from the responsibility of being held responsible for your actions of the most heinous crimes of murder and killing. And this has become too big of a get-out-of-jail-free card for too many people that commit horrible crimes. And I don't care if you're crazy or not. I don't need to know what's in your head. If you commit a heinous crime, you should be held accountable the same way as someone that we say is not insane, that we say is normal. This shouldn't be about rehabilitation, and more importantly, it shouldn't be abused for get-out-of-jail-free. You commit a crime, you deserve to be treated like everyone else.
All right. I'm not sure how that would look, and we're over 4 minutes, so you can't explain your program, but maybe sometime.
We can do it next week.
Okay. All right, Ben, thanks. Now you can join Ben's 500,000 followers on Twitter. He's at Ben Ferguson Show. Ben Ferguson, thanks.
Thanks, man.